This is Wycombe Sound.
Well, it's just coming up to 20 to 11. Bob Johnson here with you on the mid-morning show. And it's the time of the week where we would give you the update from our local food bank, the One Can Trust. But it's not just me giving you the update this week, because I'm pleased to say that I am now joined by Trustee from the One Can Trust, Joe Ollis. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Bob.
Good morning. So how are things going at the moment? How are they sort of like on this, the 1st of May? So we're now a good month and a half into lockdown. What is the situation at the One Can Trust?
Well, thank you, first of all, for talking to me again today, and a lovely morning welcome to all the listeners, because they've just been fantastic. We are now 4 or 5 weeks into this, and we have doubled the demand, as I've been saying for the last couple of weeks. It's starting to stay now at double the demand, but we are actually getting ready for it moving up to about 500 people a week that we're feeding. And considering the average was 160 or 170 in January and February, that's phenomenal, isn't it?
That's a huge leap, isn't it? And particularly, the time of year, as you say, January and February, you'd think, well, probably the winter months would be a big demand anyway. But that's just a ridiculous leap, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you think about it, if we carry on like that for the rest of the year, that's going to be well over 20,000 people this year that are in a vulnerable crisis situation just in our local community.
Yes, which is a huge number. So what can people do to help? Because I know that you have the sites at supermarkets where people can go and donate the food. Clearly, things are slightly different at supermarkets at the moment. So what is the best way of people donating food to you?
Thank you, Bob. Well, first of all, obviously, a lot of people are self-isolating, so they're not going to supermarkets, but we still have all of our boxes in all the supermarkets in South Bucks area. So if you are shopping, please, would you, just before you go to pay, think about everybody that's not coping and maybe pick up a couple of cans of tinned meat or some cans of vegetables or maybe some long life milk. Anything pulses that is essential. We really just need essential foods because we have to feed those tummies, those children's tummies at the moment, and keep them full. If you can't do that and you are self-isolating at home, please would you go to our website, which is onecantrust.org.uk, and give us a small donation. If not, we have the most incredible campaign, and this is all thanks to Wycombe Sound, of our street heroes, all our local families opening up a little box in their garden for all their neighbours to come and donate. That has, honestly, Bob, it's just gone crazy.
That's so good to hear as well. I've said it before, sort of like recently, ever since the pandemic started, but it is one of those times. I know we're going through some of the worst times, but it brings out the absolute best in people as well, doesn't it? It
really does. Excuse me, that's my dog. I think someone's trying to deliver something at our front door. My black Labrador having a little bark.
That's okay. If you need to go and get the delivery, that's fine, because I know how annoying that is. If then
I did put a little sign on saying that I was doing a little interview, so please don't ring the doorbell. But I couldn't put one on the black Labrador, could I?
No, of course not. No, the black Labrador's probably saying that, in their eyes and whatever. It's funny you say that, because just before the interview, I nipped out to go and get a drink. Now, normally, of course, if I wasn't broadcasting at home, I wouldn't then have to think, oh yes, the dogs are on their own at the minute because my wife's gone out, so they're sitting in the living room. And of course, the second that I walked out the door, they're so pleased to see me. So actually, it took about sort of another minute longer than it normally would.
That's so funny. She does come out volunteering with me, actually, Bob, just going off track slightly. When we go out to collect cans and we do food drives, she's got her own high-vis, and it does say that the food bank feeds the dog in crisis as well, and the cat.
Oh,
so that's
absolutely.
She gets loads of people giving her cans of food, which is amazing, and human food, not just the dog food. But going back to this campaign, it's amazing. So many children, young children, Bob, have got involved, and they're decorating all their little donation pots. So we're getting themes of Buzz Lightyear, we're getting all the Disney princesses, huge stuffed teddy bears, you name it, and they're all bringing their little chairs out, and they're having like little tea parties with their teddy bears, and it's just incredible.
That's so good to hear that again the whole community is getting involved, and it is very heartwarming. What about from a volunteering point of view? Because again, I know that you're an organisation that relies on volunteers. Are you looking for people at the minute that to actually help distribute the food?
So we are really good at the moment, thank you. Before this happened, we had over 150 volunteers, but in 48 hours, we lost 80% of that workforce because the majority of our volunteers are over 70. But all the young people in the area, all around, that have been furloughed, have been coming, knocking on our doors, and they have all taken over. And we've got all these delivery drivers now. It's amazing, going out to all parts of South Bucks. So we say we're good at the moment, but if we don't get the food and we don't get any money coming in, we can't survive. So that's what we're asking for at the moment. And just going back to the Street Heroes, we've had a spin-off. It's just incredible. We've now got fire stations coming out and helping us to collect food. And I'd just like to say hello to White Watch at Heathrow Airport. And you think, Heathrow Airport? Why Heathrow Airport? But a lot of the firemen actually live in the Wycombe area.
Yes,
so,
of course.
And it's obviously a massive, great big truck arrived with food last week. And we've now got dentists in High Wycombe who are asking people when they come to have some treatments, could they bring food? I mean, it's just spun off incredibly.
That's wonderful. Good morning to all of those on White Watch. I like the sort of the thought that maybe they're listening to us as either they're driving around or they're in their fire station at the moment. But as you say, that's just a wonderful example. So are there any other ways as well? So things such as supermarkets, online deliveries. Can we organise one of those for you or anything like that?
You could indeed. You could organise an online delivery. That would be fantastic, of all those essentials I spoke about, and have it sent down to Duke Street. If you look on the website, which is onecantrust.org.uk, and it will give you the address for it to go to. Amazing. At this point, I just want to pull things back and just do something that's very important, if you don't mind, Bob. If you're listening to this morning out there and you are really, really in crisis and you're struggling and you don't know how you're going to feed the kids tonight, the next few days, please come to us. Just get in touch with Bucks Emergency Support. Find a way of getting online and looking up Bucks Emergency Support. That will bring you through to us. So that's really important to say that, and it's also going to be on our website as well.
Absolutely, yes, because it's quite easy to sit here and say, oh, well, how can people help? But actually, if you're listening and you're one of those people that need the help, well, that's an even more important thing to get across. So yes, thank you so much for doing that.
Yeah, can I just bring up a point there as well, because that leads on very nicely. We've been actually delivering all the food to everyone's doors, and we did over 138 people in one day last week. But we've been putting little slips saying, could you hand a slip back to us next week and tell us how this is helping you? What are we doing? How are we helping you? And could I just read it's just a couple of words here.
Of course, yes.
Sent back to us. It says, we haven't used a food bank before, but we've been hit hard as a family by the crisis. My husband and I are very vulnerable, and we have been badly affected financially. Over the years, I've always donated to One Can Trust. When I go through the supermarket, it was a natural thing to do. But until this situation, you don't really realise what it's like until you are in this situation yourself, and just how many people and families really need your help. We are very grateful for the food that we are receiving on our doorstep every week, and we're asking your community to please keep donating food. Thank you to all of you at the food bank, the volunteers and the donators. God bless you.
Such a powerful message, and particularly the fact that that person says that they did donate and now they're actually using your services. Just absolutely, really a message that brings home actually what some people are going through during this current time.
Yeah, I was thinking this morning, I don't know if you're a parent, Bob. But
I am, yes.
Yeah, so have a think about this. This just came to me this morning when I was waiting to come on air. Put yourself in the shoes of that lady that wrote that, just for a sec. Can you even begin to imagine what it must be like to know that you can't give any food at this moment to your children? You can't feed your children because you're so desperate yourself. You must be so disempowered. I mean, that is the basic fundamental of being a parent, isn't it? To feed your kids.
Yes, absolutely. And again, I think it's probably something that actually, for a lot of people before this happened, it was a situation that they never imagined that they would be in. Just the fact that you said how much the need has grown over the last couple of months just shows what crisis people must be going through at the moment.
Absolutely. And I have sat down with many clients in the past, as I've said before in these interviews, and they have told me that, the food just about makes a week, but the last day before the next emergency food package comes in, often the parents will not eat. They will not eat. They will give their food to the children. And I just sit there and I just take that on board. And there is really nothing that you can say to that, is there?
No, not at all. And just, it shows what people are going through at the moment and how some very, very difficult and awkward decisions are having to be made by families, with regards to what do they prioritise. And as you say, clearly, feeding your kids, that's a fundamental, a basic that you would imagine that you would always be able to do.
I know, it's incredible. I'm going to go on to a lighter note because I find that incredibly upsetting. I've been thinking about it a lot this morning. So our street heroes, if we didn't have those street heroes, if I hadn't come to Wycombe Sound and asked you to speak to all of our wonderful community out there, we would not be existing now, because the food that they're bringing in, poor Adrian, our warehouse manager at times, he doesn't quite know where to start. But it's gone out. Bob, it's gone out within 2 or 3 days. The food that's coming in is going straight out. So these street heroes are really heroes. They are incredible. Could I just tell you a couple of really lovely stories of what people are doing in the community?
Yes, of course.
Before I go? Okay, so there's a lady called Natasha Soma. I spoke about her last week. Apparently she heard me talk about One Can a couple of years ago. I had no idea. And she does some crowdfunding in Marlow, and it was £900 last week. It's gone up to £2,000 this week. So a massive thank you to her. Piper's Corner School at Great Kingshill, they've donated lots of food. But I'd like to give a very special mention to little Mia in Downley, who held a socially distancing toy sale this week, and she raised £21. So she went shopping with her mummy, and she dropped off £21 worth of essential food to a lady called Rebecca, who was her local street hero. Isn't that a lovely story?
That's absolutely wonderful, and I love the idea of a socially distanced toy sale. I think that's wonderful. If the people who create Toy Story are listening, I think that's, there's a potential Toy Story film there.
Yeah, I bet Mum had to get the anti-back wipes out on all the toys before she took them out, don't you?
Yes, absolutely. So once again, just remind us, how can we help?
Thank you. So please go to onecantrust.org.uk. Please, can we have a small donation, or can you give us essential foods through the cans in the supermarket or your local street hero, or become a street hero? If you've listened to this and you'd like to become a street hero, please go to our website, onecantrust.org.uk.